Hey everyone, Yan Jiao back again. Finally, after months and months, I'm starting to get through my backlog of comic reviews. Today, let's start with Downcast by Clint Stoker, otherwise known as Sweetcast. Currently has a IndieGoGo for the book FATL. Highly recommended you take a look. So this is Wrize and Fall, which is the second part to the Downcast story. I believe this book and part one are still on in-demand on IndieGoGo, so I believe you can still order them through there, and if not, give them a contact. So, Downcast. The original book, which I believe came out last year, 2019, stars a brother and sister pair. You have Joanna, and Jax. They start out, they're window washers trying to pay to get their father out of jail. They believe their father was wrongly convicted of a crime. They're interrupted by a group, I believe they're called the Deadliners, who are stealing a stone. And this stone is kind of a magical stone that they believe a goddess either inhabits or talks to you through. And they are sort of set up by this senator named Wrize, who's the Wrize here. Senator Wrize wants this stone. He wants to be in charge of the city that they're in, Strata. The world has been destroyed. The only, I guess, real city that's left is Strata, which is up in the sky. This stone can somehow make the city float, and that's what everybody's about. So in the first issue, these two end up with the stone, and they prove that Senator Wrize is behind these terroristic things. In the end, these two are arrested. Wrize is theoretically dead. He's dead, or people don't think he's dead, but he's in prison. I can't remember. I should have really read that book last night before reading this one today. But at any rate, he eats the stone right before the end, so he shows up in this book. Now, to me, this is a very interesting book tonally because it seems a little bit different. The first one, these two are definitely teenagers and they're kind of jokey, and it almost seems like the audience is a little bit younger. This book takes place 3 months after the end of the last one, and they seem much more mature. I don't know if jaded is quite the right word, but their eyes have been opened. Not woke. Not that kind of woke. Eyes have been open. Let's go with that. So I believe this was the Matthew Weldon cover. There was an A and a B cover, one with Matthew Weldon, the other with Kelsey Shannon. All right. Let's back here we have a forward by Von Klaus. Very interesting. We have a thank you to a lot of people. Not to be too nitpicky, but like, I don't know, you're gonna put a bunch of anonymouses in a anonymous. Like, there's only so many places for names. You know, you might want to put anonymous once, and everybody who bought anonymously would be like, hey, that's me, and then you could put in more people with real names. But at any rate, we get into it. Artwork by Nacho Lazaro. He's the guy who did the first one, and I don't know, I think he's improved. Now, there were some criticisms, like I believe Ethan Van Sciver had said, well, there's no one panel that you remember, and I think Ethan's kind of looking for like a big splash page, sort of very 1990s style. You still don't have that here, but you know, nothing bothered me in this book. I mean, to an extent, that is true, but I think that Nacho has gotten a bit better. You see different camera angles. It's not always just medium shots. Very nice design here. Getting thrown down to the surface. In terms of art, I think it's very good. I like the coloring better on this one. I don't know why. it's very similar style, but something, I don't know, something a little more indie, I guess. Now, the only thing that I find interesting, so for anyone who doesn't know, Clint Stoker is one of the newest Alterna authors. So Alterna Comics, they print everything on newsprint. This is on very nice quality, glossy piece of paper. So when you're printing on paper that's this quality, see how there's all that texture and differentiation on this blue here? I got a feeling that's just going to be a mess on newsprint. There's been other books, Exilium, and some of the others where they're printing more in this style. Like it clearly was a graphic novel before, and then later printed on newsprint, which just didn't really work. It looked very strange. So you can see textures, especially in the sky. Like this looks good here, but I don't know. We'll have to see how it turns out. I think originally it was slated to be launched this fall, but with all the COVID stuff, I don't know where Peter Simeti put it in the Alterna lineup. All right, but at any rate, so we have Jax. You can see him wearing these yellow watches. They stole a small piece of the stone, and Jax is apparently very good with electrical things because he devises these watches, which it's a little bit unclear to me. For sure allows people to float, but it might also allow them to fly. I'm not 100% sure, if it's levitation or complete flight. But at any rate, they are attacked very soon into the start of the book. They split up. So Jax is staying up in Strata. Wrize has come back. He's destroying all these buildings. He wants to destroy Strata because of Mother, this goddess spirit who some people who see the stone can see, although many people don't. Joanne, she basically gets thrown down to Earth when she finds a witness who saw that Wrize had planned this accident that Jax and Joanne's father was blamed for. So he's holding on. He's trying to, he's going to fight them. Joanna finds their father, brings him up to Strata. They have a fight with Wrize, who has these godlike powers from eating the stone. Eventually, the father sacrifices himself. Wrize gets sent into space. Their father is exonerated, a hero, and they end up washing windows. So it's a nice overall story. I don't know if this means that the story of Strata, the story of this world, is over. Maybe. I hope not. I'd like to see more stories here. And then one thing that I really like is the secret history of Strata. So there's a lot of mythology to this world, like what exactly is going on, where's the rest of the world. And this ends up being a journal entry with some absolutely fabulous art in it. It starts off as sort of like exploration age field guide where they discover this rock. I don't know why it looks South American-ish to me, but I don't think they actually say that. At any rate, they dig it up and people are hallucinating, seeing a goddess. The rock gets broken up and made into smaller orbs, and there are all sorts of experiments on animals. And then as a sort of a last refuge after nuclear war starts, Strata gets built and people are sent up there to live, or they're invited up there, I should say. I really like this. It's something that I don't think Clint needed to do, but as someone who likes the story, it really scratches that itch of, oh, so that's what happened. The book definitely has a mythology. It's a consistent internal mythology, but since we don't live in that world, like from book one, it was like, well, what's the goddess? How did this city get here? How does this relate to our world? Because it seemed to. There's definitely World War I mentioned in here. And then it seems like there's a Cold War with Russia threatening to nuke people. And eventually they do. So, yeah, very interesting, very solid. Number 2, I would say it's, a lot of times people have great ideas for Volume 1, and then Volume 2 is a big disappointment because they realize they have to continue things. This, on the other hand, is excellent. And the 2 books together are fantastic. I would suggest either, buying the 2 issues as they are, or hopefully at some point in the future, Clint will just combine them into one larger trade paperback. Is that be the right word? Well, whatever. So, Downcast, Wrize and Fall. Highly recommended. What are your thoughts? Did you like it? Did you not like it? Leave a comment down below. Tell me why. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. If you want to see more independent comic book content, let me know. We'll see you soon.